Well, for the past few months, the only thing we've heard about on television or radio is either the Epstein story or the Trump story about Russia collusion, Russiagate, I think they call it. That's all we've heard for the last few months. And not much else stuff is going on. But there's a big thing that's been happening that maybe you haven't heard about, and I'm going to discuss it for a little bit. It has to do with the ground that you're standing on, Mother Earth. Well, Mother Earth right now is going through some convolutions, call it what you will. These are earthquakes, and they're happening all around the world, especially in an area called the Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim runs pretty much up the west coast of the United States, heads over, and goes down, starts in Russia, and goes all the way down past in the China area. So it's like a big, giant circle, if you will, that is, well, cracks in the earth. Because the earth is not a smooth planet, folks. The earth has areas in it, areas that overlap. There are fault lines. You get one moving and another moving. Things happen with earthquakes. And with earthquakes, the ground actually moves. Those are fault lines. Now, as a kid, I remember hearing about the San Andreas Fault when I was a kid growing up. It's in California. You actually go out there and kind of see where it is. So it's a line that runs. And they say, well, someday the San Andreas Fault is going to erupt and the entire west coast of California is going to fall in the ocean. Some people might applaud that. But the problem is that maybe not everybody will. Well, here's the problem. We've got volcanoes going off from Alaska, Washington, Oregon, Hawaii. It's happening all around the world. Things are going on. We're getting earthquakes that are, 6 and 7 levels. Tsunami warnings are going up. Something's going on. What is the Earth doing right now? What's happening with the Earth? Told you some time back that the Earth's magnetic pole, what we work with magnetic north, we call it, is moving. And it seems to be moving toward the top of the world and maybe moving towards Siberia, which may mean what's inside of the Earth, the molten core, might be moving itself, maybe adjusting itself. Who knows what's going on? You go over to Hawaii on the Big Island, you can see the volcano Kilauea. That's spewing all the time. It's happening. Iceland just had some fissures open up, and they've got a lot of lava going on. Something is happening in the world. Well, are there earthquakes out there that are causing things to happen? Yes. Are there volcanoes out there that may be getting ready to blow? Well, let me tell you about one that happened back in 1980. And it was a gentleman was hiking. His name was Robert Landsberg. And he was on a place called Mount Adams. This is about over near Mount St. Helens. This was back in May of 1980. So anyway, he's out there 30 miles away from Mount St. Helens. And I'm telling you, he's 30 miles away. Photographing, that's what he's doing. They have pictures. He's sitting there taking pictures as Mount St. Helens explodes on May the 18th of 1980. He's taking pictures 30 miles away. And that cloud, that mushroom that came out of Mount St. Helens, that whole side that collapsed, all the particles in the air, the ash, everything else. Mr. Landsberg realized he was not going to live. 30 miles. He was going to die. Took his camera, wound the film back in, put it in a case, put the case inside of a backpack, and he laid on top of it, trying to preserve the film and his camera, because he didn't think he was going to live, and he didn't. His body was discovered 17 days later under pounds and miles of, just eons amount of ash. Covered him over totally. They had barely got lucky and found him. Well, as it turns out, they developed the film that he had in his camera in his backpack, and the National Geographic published the photos. Here's what it looks like. That's what he was looking at. Here's what he was seeing 30 miles away. I bring this up because in the state of Washington, they have a Mount Ranier. Mount Ranier is one of the big mountains in Washington. So it's between Seattle, Tacoma area. It's towering. Well, Mount St. Ranier, the largest earthquake it had recently. They're getting rumblings, and I mean massive rumblings are happening under Mount Ranier. Like 300. It's happening all the time. It's shaking big time. What is happening with Mount Ranier? Is Mount Ranier getting ready to blow? Well, if it does, you're talking Seattle and Tacoma right there. What on earth could happen to those people when Mr. Landsberg was killed when Mount St. Helens blew up and he was 30 miles away? That mountain is right there between Seattle and Tacoma. Wouldn't be a good plan. Now, last eruption of Mount Rainier was 1,000 years ago. But nobody knows what it's going to do because everything is happening. Earthquakes and volcanoes are happening all around the Pacific Rim. They just had a 7.1 just off the coast of Russia. Thought I'd have a tsunami. It didn't happen. But that's what's going on. Up in Alaska, the Sitkin volcano and the Aleutian Islands, it's starting to bubble up a little bit. And there's craters all over the place that are happening. So Alaska along the Aleutian chain, volcano area. Kenai Peninsula, that's getting south of Anchorage. That's got earthquakes going on there, small volcanoes also. Something is going on. But the biggest two that we have to worry about, there's one off the coast of Oregon, and it's underground, it's underwater, it's in the ocean. It's called the Axial Seamount. It's a massive undersea volcano underwater. It's about a couple of 100 feet deep, but it's bubbling. And they think that could blow. Now, they got cameras on it, so they can watch it 24 hours a day if it blows. But if that blows, that could create a tsunami of epic proportions because there could be a giant volcano in the ocean that blows up. And worse than that, Yellowstone Park. Everybody knows Yellowstone. It's a great place to go visit. People love it. They go see it. All the craters, the geysers, all the ones that are erupting all the time, right? They come up, Old Faithful. Trouble is, that entire area is a giant volcano, folks. A giant volcano. If that thing were to blow, it could kill, by theory, half of the people in the United States. One volcano. It's that big. So, what are we going to do? Well, what can we do? We can monitor it. We can take a look at it, keep an eye on it. But if Mother Nature decides to throw up, Mother Nature could throw up in a way we could never imagine. Maybe it's out in the ocean, or maybe it's places like Yellowstone. I just want to tell you what's going on so you realize underneath us, the world is bubbling. And if that bubbling turns into a massive explosion, we're not sure where it will be, and we're not sure what it'll do. But it could be more damaging than anything any nuclear bomb could ever create. Mother Nature can be that destructive. And let's pray she keeps it under control.